Good morning everyone. So today I am going to discuss about quantum mechanics. Quantum mechanics is the study of processes which occur at the atomic scale. In any concept, first we have to consider a particle. The particle is specified by mass, velocity, momentum and energy. Coming to the topic of wave, we cannot say that wave is located here and there. A wave is specified by its frequency, wavelength, phase of velocity, amplitude and intensity. In quantum mechanics, we discuss about the radiation. Radiation is also a wave which is spread out over space and also a particle which is localized at a point in space. In detail, radiation sometimes behaves as both particle and wave. So let us see in detail about waves and particles. First one is waves. Waves can superposed means show interference effects and they can pass through each other and also has wavelength and frequency. So localized in space and time. Coming to particles, they cannot pass through each other but they can bounce or shatter. Now let us see expression for wavelength of matter wave. The mathematical expression for the wavelength of the matter wave can be derived by taking photon into consideration in radiation. At first, a light wave of frequency V is associated with a photon of energy E. Now by applying Planck's constant relation, we get energy E is equals to hv. According to Einstein's theory of relativity, a particle of mass m is equivalent to energy, so E becomes mc square. Then if we consider that a photon gains mass m during in motion with velocity c, we get hv is equals to mc square. As we all knew that momentum p is equals to mc, we can write the above equation as hv is equals to pc, that is equals to pv lambda. Because here c is equals to v lambda, we can also write this as lambda is equals to h by p, then p is equals to mv, then it becomes h by mv. Here there are some cases discussed in the following points. First one is, if the particle is accelerated through kinetic energy, then here Ek is called kinetic energy, and as we already knew that kinetic energy formula is half mv square, then it becomes half mv square by m. We before knew that p is momentum and momentum is equals to mv. mv becomes p, then it becomes p square by 2m. Here p is equals to root 2m Ek. Now the expression for the de Broglie wavelength can be given as lambda is equals to h by root 2m Ek. Next point is, if the particle is accelerated with the help of electrostatic energy, then the kinetic energy can be given as kinetic energy is equals to q into v. Here v is the accelerating potential. Now the momentum of the particle can be given as p is equals to root 2m qv. Hence the de Broglie wavelength associated with the particle can be given as lambda is equals to h root 2m q into v. The next one is, if the particle is accelerated with the help of thermal energy, then the kinetic energy can be given as kinetic energy is equals to kinetic energy is equals to 3 by 2 kT. Here Ek is called kinetic energy, K is called Boltzmann constant of value 1.38 into 10 power minus 23 joule per Kelvin, and T is absolute temperature. Then momentum of the particle will be given as momentum is equals to, we already know that momentum is equals to root 2m into kinetic energy. Here we took kinetic energy as 3 by 2 kT. Then we substitute Ek value in the momentum. Then it becomes root 2m into 3 by 2 kT, that is equals to root 3m kT. Then the expression for the wavelength can be given as lambda is equals to h by root 3m kT. Then the next one is, when the particle is moving with a velocity comparable to that of light, then the mass will no longer be considered constant. Then it becomes m is equals to m naught by root 1 minus v square by c square. Here m is mass during motion, m naught is mass during rest, v is the velocity of the particle, and c is the velocity of light. Substituting this in de Broglie's wavelength expression, we get lambda is equals to h by mv, that is equals to h into root of 1 minus v square by c square by m naught into v. And coming to the next point, de Broglie wavelength is associated with electron. Now let us consider an electron of rest with mass m naught and charge E and potential difference V. Then the kinetic energy can be given as half m naught v square is equals to EV. Then the velocity becomes V is equals to root 2 into EV by m naught. Then the de Broglie wavelength associated with electron can be given as lambda is equals to h by m naught v, that is equals to h by root m naught by m naught into root 2 EV. We can also write this as lambda is equals to h by root 2 EV into m naught. Here h is called Planck's constant of value 6.625 into 10 power minus 34 joules per second. By substituting all the values, we get lambda is equals to 6.625 into 10 power minus 34 by root of 2 into 1.632 into 10 power minus 19 into v velocity into 9.1 into 10 power minus 31. We can also write this as lambda is equals to 12.26 by root v in angstroms. Now let us see the properties of matter waves. First point is, if the particle is lighter, then the wavelength associated with it will be greater. And the second point is, if the velocity of the particle is more, then the wavelength associated with it. And when v is equals to 0, then lambda becomes infinity. If v is equals to infinity, then lambda becomes 0. So this shows that matter waves are generated by motion of particles, and these waves are produced whether the particle may be charged or uncharged. This tells us that these waves are not electrons, magnetic but are of same new kind, electromagnetic but are of same new kind. The velocity of matter waves depends on the velocity of material particle. So now let us see some experiments for detection of matter waves. So let us see some images regarding these experiments so that we can understand clearly about the experiments. This image is from Davidson and Germer diffraction experiment. And this is from G.P. Thomson experiment. This image is from Heisenberg uncertainty principle. The next one is detection of matter waves. A wave associated with the motion of a material particle is known as matter wave. They are generated by both microscopic and macroscopic bodies. The wavelength of matter waves of microscopic body are so small, so they cannot be detected by an instrument. De Broglie in 1924 suggested that the electron was given the wave-particle duality. There are many experiments to prove that the electron is a particle, and also it has mass, charge, energy and momentum. Let us see some experiment on wave nature of electrons. First one is, First one is Davinson-Germer diffraction experiment. The next one is Thomson experiment. Let us start with the first experiment. This experiment was performed by two scientists named as Davinson and Germer in 1927. So this is the construction. In this Faraday cylinder was moved on the circular scale. So this is the circular scale. For a given accelerating voltage V. In this experiment, if you see the scattering curve shows more in a particular direction and with the electron beam incident perpendicular to the crystal surface. The scattering direction was found to be 50 degrees at 54 volts. According to de Broglie electron wave, lambda is equals to 12.26 by root 54. This one was already derived by substituting 54 volts in the formula. We get lambda is equals to 1.67 angstroms. Now by taking X-rays analysis, it is known that a nickel crystal acts as a plane diffraction grating with grating space D is equals to 0.909 into 10 power minus 10 meters. According to the experiment, we have diffraction angle is equals to 50 degrees. Then the corresponding Bragg's angle is theta naught is equals to 180 minus 50 by 2. Then by substituting we get 65 degrees. Using the Bragg's formula, 2d sin theta naught is equals to n lambda. As by substituting all values we get lambda is equals to 1.65 angstroms. As two values are nearly equal, then we can confirm that de Broglie concept of matter waves. The next one is G.P. Thomson experiment. G.P. Thomson in his experiments he noticed diffraction patterns are exactly similar to X-ray patterns. So Thomson experiment supported the concept of matter waves since the diffraction pattern is possible. This is the experiment arrangement. So this is the experiment arrangement. Here he considered a photographic plate and gold foil. In this he observed concentric rings are obtaining at a central spot. This concentric rings pattern is similar to X-rays. In order to make sure that his pattern is due to electrons and due to X-rays, he applied a magnetic field and path of electron beam. Then he observed that the electron beam is shifted. Then he also observed that the rings that are produced are interrupted by only diffraction. So hence he concluded that the electrons behaves like waves. Hence the following conclusions have been drawn from the experiment. They are, first one is Thomson demonstrated the existence of matter waves because of diffraction. Second one is Thomson calculated the wavelength associated with the electrons. And coming to the third one, the calculated wavelength of both diffraction and de Broglie relation matches. And the last one is the wavelength depends only on accelerating voltage and independent on material. The next one is Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Heisenberg explained uncertainty principle in 1927. To understand the uncertainty, let us take the examples of narrow and wide wave packets. In a narrow wave packet, the position can be easily determined, but momentum cannot be measured. On taking a wider packet, the wavelength can be determined, but position is not certain due to larger width. So he concluded that he, it is not possible to determine the exactly the position and momentum at a time. In other words, the product of uncertainty in the measurement of position and momentum is always constant and has least Planck's constant. So it can be written as delta P into delta X is equals to H. Here delta P is measurement of position, uncertainty in measurement of position in momentum, and delta X is measurement of uncertainty in position. H is Planck's constant, and it has experimentally observed that the product of uncertainties in position and momentum is equals to or greater than H by 4 pi. So which can be written as delta P into delta X is greater than or equals to H by 4 pi. Movement of the electron around the nucleus is shown in the picture. So let us see the formulas for time dependent and time independent wavelengths. First one is time dependent wavelength. The formula for time independent wavelength is V is equals to minus E square by 4 pi epsilon naught into 1 by R. That is equals to minus E square by 4 pi epsilon naught 1 by, here R value is root x square plus y square plus z square. So we substitute root x square plus y square plus z square in the place of R. Then we get this formula. The next one is time independent wavelength. Formula for time independent wavelength. It is also V is equals to minus E square by 4 pi epsilon naught 1 by R. That is equals to minus E square by 4 pi epsilon naught into 1 by root x square plus y square plus z square. In first one time is considered and in second one time is not considered. The next one is energy of the electron. En is equals to minus E square by 4 pi epsilon naught whole square into m by 2 n square h dash square, where n is equals to 1, 2, 3. Here energy is related to principal quantum number. This gives 3 of the quantum numbers, and the last one is spin quantum number s, either plus half or minus half. The next one is electron transition given of energy as light or X-rays. When the light is passed through a prism, it is broken up and colored lines are observed by spectroscope. By this we can see red and blue clouds in space as shown in below figure. Like this, Zeeman effect light emission in magnetic field can be shown. Multi-electron atoms mean poly principal exclusion principal number 2 electrons with same quantum number. So this is the periodic table of the elements and was invented by Mendeleev in 1869. Light can also emit through any elements. Light emission from some of the elements is shown in the figure below. Here En is equals to minus E square by 4 pi epsilon naught whole square into m by 2n square into h dash square, where n is equals to 1, 2, 3. Here in this figure, We can see the shape of B2H6 molecule in this figure. Thank you all for listening my seminar.